Hello, my name is Denise Bennett. I'm an angel intuitive and I do readings. So I would like to share what the honeybees have said to me. I've got a couple of them here. And so if you're looking for me, it's Angels and Intuition. This is a honeybee reading, and this is my question. Angels, can I speak to the bees? And they said, yes, of course. And I said, I'm sorry for the hurt my species has caused. Is there anything I can do? And they said, loving acts are felt by all members in every hive across the land. We speak to each other telepathically. Some are angry with what's happening to us. Many are frustrated and don't know what to do. We communicate daily to keep up morale. There are some humans that care about us like you do, and we are grateful for your kind. We would appreciate greater numbers of you spreading the word. We are a community, a family, just as you are, and we are being torn apart. And I said, what are you affected by most? And they said, chemicals in our food, air, and water. They are powerfully damaging. And I said, what about the electromagnetic fields? And they replied, they cause confusion. Navigation is highly obstructed. And then I said, what about genetically altered foods? And they said, unnatural plants cause instability and deformity. So the breakdown of the body and mind is due to chemicals and unnatural plants? Yes. Angels, can we reverse this trend? And they said, if enough of you focus your attention on correcting it, then yes. You must join together to create sufficient power and momentum. Otherwise, the decline will continue and bees will disappear from your planet, all except a handful displayed in a glass box for show. And I said, this saddens me. And they said, yes, humans can be quite destructive, but when you are ready, you will move mountains together in the name of love. And I said, I look forward to the day. And they said, yes, we do also. I should probably interrupt. Those are my angels speaking. So sometimes I speak directly to a species, and sometimes I work directly with my angels. As long as it's a powerful and positive and calming voice, then it's fine. I will listen to any being that's in body or without, as long as it is there to help. Okay. And now this one's directly to the bees. Bees, can you speak about the chemtrails affecting you? And they said, we fly through sticky mist. Our eyes burn and we experience numbness, and some of us have seizures. I said, what draws you to the ocean? We know instinctively that sea air is cleansing. Unfortunately, there is nowhere to land that is safe. Water and sand are dangerous for us, but we take our chances in order to survive. I said, why do some of you recover from the hyperactivity and others don't? I'm talking about the twitching and the seizures, which I believe are, there's a lot of information that says that's connected to the neonicotinoids. And they said, just like you, it depends on our constitution, how strong we are when affected, and also each member of the hive decides when he's had enough of this or any situation. We have levels of tolerance like any other species. Again, I'm sorry, that's what I said. Don't give up on your species. Many more are beginning to care about us. If we disappear, know that we will always be around in form or not. Our essence will be with you. We will be sure to send you messages. We will smell like honey. And I said, thank you for understanding my careless species. And they said, you are young. Ignorance is all you are guilty of. There is nothing to forgive. Okay, then I had an experience where I used to pick up a lot of bees in Laguna Beach where I lived, off the sand, off the sidewalks and off the sand at the beach. So there was a bee that disappeared into the waves, and I did this reading for this particular experience. Angels, can you explain what I saw? A healthy bee landed on the sand, and then a wave took him. And what do you think happened? And I said it looked intentional, like he didn't seem to fight, to live after the wave came. And they said, don't doubt yourself. This creature did not act impulsively. You are right. Can you redirect your question to the bee? I said, okay. Bee, why did you land on the sand? And he said, we return to the sea when we are ready. I said, did you drown? And he said, yes. I said, why is that the way? He said, it isn't for every soul, but it was my choice this time. And I said, you looked healthy. And he said, what you observed wasn't entirely correct. My family is dead, and many more are sick and dying within the hive. The decision was made to move on. There was no point in remaining. And I said, are you sad? And the bee said, the frustration and pain remains with the physical form, so the answer is no. And I said, so is it like committing suicide? And he said, in a way, yes, but there is less confusion and anguish. We make the decision after weighing out the advantages of either scenario. It is logical and less emotional than a human suicide. I said, why do some bees survive? I pick them up. Should I stop that? And he said, like you, we face obstacles and must deal with outer circumstances. The ocean is moving and cannot control every detail. Then there is the soul mind versus the fight for survival, which is instinctual. So there are inconsistencies, but mostly it only delays the inevitable outcome. I should probably interrupt myself. So there's the lower mind, which is always in like survival mode. And then there's higher mind that knows, like the soul, that always knows that we live forever. There's no such thing as death. And once you leave the body, you're still here. You just don't have that vehicle. So that's true of any species, including man, and bugs and animals and everything. Okay, I'll go back to this. So should I stop picking up bees from the sand? And he said, no. For many, it is their only close encounter with a human. It is unexpected and quite moving. It renews their hope for reunification of the species. And I said, that sounds wonderful. Yes, it will be a joyful miracle whose time has come. So, I guess I want to tell a couple of stories too. There was a day that a woman called me and wanted, she had some bees coming in through her chimney. And she was really frightened that her roommate was ready to call an exterminator. So she said, you've got to get here right away. And I knew her house was probably about 20 minutes from mine. I said, nope, we're going to do this right now over the phone. And the way that I do what I do is I get myself out of the way. Denise is an average person and doesn't have any more clues about how to do anything amazing than your everyday person. But the way that I communicate and solve things and tap into angels is to get out of the way. That's what I do. So while I'm on the phone with her, I hear, and not with my ears, I pick up messages, feelings, sentences, words, thoughts, and what most people would call the intuition, which I like calling it my intuition as well. To me, angels and intuition is kind of the same thing. So I got quiet and I spoke to her and I said, right now, you need to open every door, every window, and the flue. And that's not at all what she wanted to hear, of course, because she was closing the flue and closing up all the windows and really frightened that hundreds of bees were going to show up in her house. But she trusted me, which is wonderful. And I said, you also need to speak to them. And what I'm doing right now is kind of showing you what I do. I'm here, but I'm also listening. There's information that's coming into my mind from angels right now, and I can speak, but I'm also listening at the same time. And that's what I did with her. And I said, you need to tell the bees that they won't be harmed, but they need to leave. and keep your promise. Don't harm them. So, and that's really the secret to communicating with any species, is have respect, don't harm them, and give them the message that you need. Very simply, very plainly, I need you to leave, or, to protect them, to, in this case, she didn't want them in her home. They're fine outside, but she didn't want them in the home, and her roommate was so frightened that she was ready to call the exterminator. So that's for their own safety as well. So we did that and hung up, and I said, call me in whatever, 15, 20 minutes, tell me what happened. And she called me back and said that not a single bee was hurt, nobody got stung, and just as I had said, once she opened all the doors and spoke to them and said, you're safe, but please leave, they left. Within whatever it was, 15, 20 minutes, all the bees were out. And I think that what was really thrilling for her is that she could speak to a bee. And while we were on the phone the second time, I said, they came for a visit. They were visiting you. Something, you must have had an encounter. Something happened recently. And then she recalled that there was a day when it rained, and there was a bumblebee that was covered with mud, and she had helped him. And so that was sweet. And they came to kind of visit and see her and see who this human was that cared about bees. So anyway, I think I've given you some information about bees. And by the way, I guess I'll just suggest that you buy organic clothing and food so that our bee friends can be around for several more million years instead of disappearing. And we need to do all that we can, get rid of our all these things that we spray all over our lawns, and see if we can get them classified. The bees need to be classified as endangered, and they're still not. I don't know how that's possible. So thank you for doing all you can to help our bee friends.